You're looking at the Taipei 101, which used to be the tallest building in the world from 2004 until 2010, until it was overtaken by that crazy building in Dubai. I forgot the name, but it's no longer the tallest building in the world. In fact, there's now 7 buildings that are higher than this one. But how cool is it to rent an apartment with a view of this magnificent structure? Well, I'm gonna show you my Airbnb. Well, it's not really an Airbnb actually, but I'll get into that later. But I just want to show you guys where I'm staying for the next 2 months or so. This is, I guess this is a balcony, but it's used as a laundry room. It's also closed off, which brings me to the first interesting point about Taipei, and that is that for some reason the balconies, this is the other balcony right here, the balconies are very closed off. You can see there's a roof, they're not even like really windows because you can't see through them. Unfortunately, you can't open the windows, and when you open the window you'll see that there's actually a really great view. I was gonna say the F word, but then I reminded myself, so I shouldn't swear on these videos, or maybe I should. But anyway, you can see the view is amazing. Taipei is surrounded by mountains, and that's one of the things I love about Taipei. It's literally a 5-minute walk from here. There are all sorts of hiking trails, and so if you want to get out of the city, it's very easy to do so. But yeah, I don't know why they don't open these things up. I mean, it's very nice when the sun shines to sit here out on this balcony and enjoy the sun. I guess people don't really appreciate the sun as much as they do in some other countries, like in Holland, for example, where I'm from. People love the sun. As soon as the sun comes out, people go outside to catch a little bit of sunlight. But here you see people walking around with umbrellas when the sun shines because they don't want to get a tan. So I guess that's one of the reasons that they close off these balconies. I'm just going to show you the rest of the house as I'm speaking. Here's the bathroom. And the second thing is maybe it's security reasons. Maybe they don't want people falling off the balconies or jumping off the balconies, or I don't know. It's got to be one of the two, or maybe a combination of both. But I wish they would open those up, because as a result, no one's really using the balcony at all here. And this is my room, by the way. It's very small, but you know, has a double bed. It's good enough. Has an air conditioning, which is very important for me. This is my buddy's room. It's a little nicer because it has its own private bathroom. So yeah, let me switch this around so I can, whoopa, there I am. Yeah, so the story about how we found this place is actually pretty funny, because one of my buddies actually rented this as an Airbnb, and he stayed here for a couple of weeks. But then the owner, and in particular the other residents of the building, they weren't very happy with him. They started complaining to the landlord. And it's not that he was doing anything wrong, but I guess he looks a little intimidating maybe for the local people here. He's bald and he has a beard, and he tends to have this serious expression on his face. And so the residents started complaining to the landlord, and so he had to find a different solution. And my other friend, Sim, who you're gonna meet because I'm staying here for 2 months and living with him, he then went up to the landlord and told him, hey, since you don't want to do Airbnb as much anymore, why don't you rent it out to me for 12 months, and then you can still do Airbnb when I'm not here. Because my friend Sim, just like me, we're travelers, so you know, we don't stay in one place for the whole year. He stays in Taipei quite a bit, maybe half of his time. And so he has a pretty good deal now, where he rents this for, I think it's less than $2,000. It's I think it's $1,600 US per month, which is pretty amazing for a free bedroom. As I showed you earlier, we're right next to the Taipei 101 tower, right in the city center of the city. And this is a big city. There's I think there's 7 million people living here. Anyway, so my buddy Sim, he splits the Airbnb profit that the landlord makes, and that way his rent is even lower. So I think it's a great solution. It's a great solution for me as well, because one of the biggest challenges that I face as a traveler is how do you find affordable accommodation, right? You can use Airbnb for like a couple days or maybe a week, but if you're going to stay in an Airbnb for 2 months, it's generally like quite pricey, and but you know, 2 months is not enough to sign a lease, and so you're always kind of in the middle, in between like short-term and long-term rentals. So the only option you have is to either sublet something or just bite the bullet and pay the Airbnb price. And so this is kind of like a hybrid. And I was thinking, you know, this could work for maybe some other people as well, some Airbnb hosts. If you don't have enough demand on Airbnb for a certain time of the year, you might be able to find somebody who wants to rent your place during the off season, and then you can still rent it out on Airbnb during the high season. For example, I know in Canada there's a few hosts who are doing this. You know, the summer months are obviously the high season in Canada, but in the winter months the demand falls off a bit, and so there's people who rent out their units to students, and those students are typically away during the summer months, and so then they can rent it out on Airbnb, but then they still have a steady and guaranteed income during the fall and the winter and the spring, when the demand isn't as high. So that's it's kind of like a hybrid model, but I figured it could work for some people. Works really well for me, and I can imagine it could work for a lot of other digital nomads as well. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.